Hello, everyone. This is Jerry Kraft with Inch Generation again. As you know, I've been recording these cybersecurity episodes to help everyone get some training, maybe some education on some new exciting perspectives on cybersecurity here in the year 2022. So that's really my goal. I really want to have it a little interactive. Please post comments, that sort of thing, down in LinkedIn. Let me know what you think. Know what you're thinking. To that end, today I have a good friend and colleague of mine by the name of Rich Lindberg, who's a CISO here in Orange County, California. And we're going to discuss maybe security operations and board communications. Hey, Rich, are you out there?
Hi, Jerry. Good to see you.
Hey, man, how's it going? Long time no see.
I know I've got to catch up. So,
Well, missing you a great deal on the old brain trust, my friend. We definitely miss you over there and at part of our team.
yeah, well, Anant is a great family, so it's always great to touch base with family.
Definitely. So, we were talking here not too long ago, and I was, very interested in a comment and a discussion that you were thinking about, and that is security operations and board communications. And I thought about my own career and, some of the things I do with my own work as a CISO. And I have to admit that is so critical in today's, workplace to be able to talk to the board about what's going on from a cyber perspective. What kind of thoughts do you have for everybody out there on this kind of subject?
Well, everybody's experience is a little different based on their context, but when you kind of like throw it out there as a general principle, I think it always starts with security operations as your foundation. The reason being, first of all, it's your reality. That's what how you instantiate in your context of your company or your company. But the thing about security operations is that the reason why companies are compromised is because of security operations failures. And that doesn't, I'm not talking about the failure of people per se, but all of the investment in technology and process and people is fallible.
Right.
So having that foundation, manifesting your reality is great, but unless you have good situational awareness of that operations, then it's sort of blind faith. So that kind of ties back to board communications, because if you want to be able to show your good work and prove that you've been a good steward of the funds they've given you on your own budget and make good use of your people resources, then you need to have visibility into those operations. And of course, leadership perspective, translate it into language that is meaningful to them, because they're smart people. I'm sure, because otherwise they wouldn't be in the leadership position they are. But jargon being what it is, they're not supposed to be subject matter experts. That's why they have us. But we need to communicate effectively. So visibility with meaningful analytics that come out of it, and then that translates to a meaningful conversation to the stakeholders and the leadership team in a nutshell.
I was looking around for some data on this particular topic, and one of the things I noticed was that SANS Institute put out a couple of course objectives for this type of thing. Like you were just saying, the SOC end of it, that really helps a person become that knowledgeable individual on how to identify the different statistics, how to pull them out, how to get all the data together and present it in a way. And then the other side of it, which is the board communications and the communications to the, executive level and so on, about what we're seeing, building a strategy, how you're going to go about fixing the problems that are found from the tactical side. So, you're right on par with, some of the other experts are talking about as well.
Yeah. So one of the things about security is it's really hard to find resources, but as we all know, I mean, a lot of positions right now with the great resignation going on, every position is challenged, but cybersecurity has been, we've been talking about this for years, that there's going to be so many more, the demand for so many more practitioners to be in the field, that artificial intelligence, frankly, isn't going to ever fully replace. It will do a lot to help with automation and whatnot, but you're still going to need people no matter what. And they're few and far between, which is a whole nother topic. But when to your point about courses, they're worth investing in, because what happens in a lot of jobs that at least I've seen, is that if you're really good at something,
Mhm.
then they promote you to be a manager of a task, and then you can hire new people to replicate what you did as a task. And that just means you should be good at coaching a task. It doesn't really mean that you're good at managing at all, or leading at all, but you were vital in getting something important done,
Mhm.
which is great. And that happens in all positions, not just cybersecurity, of course. You could be an accountant, it could be the same thing.
Right.
So investing in good communication, I mean, heck, go sign up for Toastmasters if you can, but that's just conveying effective communication. You also have to tie that back to what's meaningful to your target audience, and Toastmasters isn't going to quite get you there, because you have to understand what they care about too.
Right.
For everyday speaking, that's fine, but for business, that means one of the courses you're talking about is a great way to go to bootstrap yourself if you're trying to come up. Of course, if you're experienced, you already know all this. But at the end of the day, if you don't create relevance and meaning to the people who you characterize as answer to, but I mean, that's sort of a truth, but the people who need to know, the leadership, then they're not going to appreciate what you're doing, and they're not going to help you continue to invest in what you want to do.
Right.
They're not going to take advantage of your expertise. And then just a task monkey, right?
No, you're right, 100%. I remember when I was operational at the bank, one of the things I did as I came up from that task monkey position to a leader in the organization, and even C-level in that sense, is that you get so far by being that task monkey, but you have to be able to articulate business principles at the end of the day that the executives want to hear. And I know we hear that all the time. But I'm hearing, when I go out to different customers and things, I'm still finding those task-oriented people having difficulties getting to that next level and talking about those business issues. And I'm still surprised that we're not past that in many ways, because when I was coming up, I remember having a few conversations with executives, and I had great relationships with the executive team. And sometimes I would say something in that task monkey mode, and they would be like, "Oh, really? You think the business can't survive that?" And it's like, no, I didn't mean that at all. So, those bumps and bruises on the way, having a forgiving executive team was kind of nice.
Yeah, I was literally having this conversation yesterday about email, and we were having a kind of a technical conversation about the different things that need to be addressed, which is, say, like malware, advanced business email compromise, which is the act of sort of an advanced ruse or con to try to, there's nothing malicious to be detected. It's literally just a con job, and that manifests many different ways, and it can be really hard to detect in an automated way. But that's a thing, and it can cost companies hundreds of thousands of dollars in a heartbeat. So, but there's also, of course, spam and some basic stuff. So we were having the conversation about the more advanced things like malware blocking, detection of blocking, BEC, and someone was saying that spam wasn't, or suggested that spam wasn't really the priority, because there are other things that do it. And I can tell you that a lot of basic systems don't do it very well. So for us to set up something new, had to include spam, because guess what? If you go to the executives and you say, we've had no malware get through,
Right.
This system is great.
Yeah.
And we can detect when someone's doing, very fancy, very subtle manipulations on a social engineering basis for business email compromise. But when you get a spam for some random pharmaceutical or political thing, or I don't know, whatever it is, just some junk that's not hostile, it's just junk, and that can get through. The executives don't know the difference. All they know is that you invested in email security. And to them, that means anything to do with email. And if it's disrupting operations, because spam will do that, it's a time sink, then they're equally displeased that you had an incomplete solution. So all they want to know is the email secure? Can we use it as a business system? And without disruptions, what are we doing about that? And that's the end of it. Any detail past that, and you've lost them, because that's why they trust you.
Yeah. No, and that's a perfect point. I mean, that's why they have you, is because they want to put their trust in you, and they want to know what it is at the end of the day and how to fix it and move on so they can get back to business. I find that boards, though, are a little bit more interesting, just because I've been able to present at boards where there's just 3 people, and I've presented at boards where there's 40 people. And I'm finding more and more that the board members seem to be really getting clued in on cyber and really diving into what it is that the company's doing. Things like encryption and AV and all this normal tactical stuff. They're starting to dive into it and want to know, how things are getting addressed. And then from a strategy or compliance mechanism, they want to know whether or not they're going to be compliant. It was just the other day that I had somebody actually say, okay, we're on this roadmap. When can we stop? And so, the boards are still not understanding that this is a journey that you're going to be on forever. It seems to be that they're still under that mindset that we can stop now and save money.
Yeah. Well, you can stabilize spend, but you don't stop spend.
Yeah, exactly.
And since the threat landscape changes, it's never even really, it's a journey, not a destination, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly, it's true. I'm working on my next presentation for them so I can mention it's a journey, not a destination.
Yeah. But, the boards are interesting because they don't have regular access to you. They only get the occasional briefing. And so they kind of look at it as their opportunity to ask geeky questions on something they read in an article somewhere, and they don't really understand it, but they know it was important, and they're genuinely curious. So you can get these random questions at different depth, which kind of goes back to security operations and visibility. And so while you present in this meaningful way, going back to KPIs and what really matters to the business, you also need to have a very clear understanding about what's happening, so that when you do get those random questions, you can address them. But of course, day to day, you also need that visibility, and not just trust that it's happening. Okay, we haven't gotten hacked, must be working, is not good enough.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Well, Rich, I want to thank you for your time today. Some great insights on your side. I don't know about mine, but
it's always great talking to you, because you make me think about interesting things. So I always appreciate these conversations.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate your conversations as well. And like I said, we miss you on the team, but at the same time, you're not going to go too far. We're going to keep snagging you back for things, you see.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. Thanks.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you get back at it and get back to doing what you do best. Anything else for the people out there?
I would say that the fight in cybersecurity is worthwhile. If you're struggling, then grab a peer or find a mentor or take a class to give you some kind of, or read a book. We need to be lifelong learners. So always have a reading list. If you want to be successful, if somebody asks you what your reading list is, have a couple of titles, at least on a piece of paper, if not off the top of your head, the things you're going to read to keep it going. And don't just sort of put it off as a wishful thought for later. Have a goal. But if you do that, it will help you feel less lost. And everybody in the community, we've all been there. I promise you'll find somebody who's happy to help in a camaraderie sort of sense.
Well, thank you again, Rich. Great insight, great information. Again, just thanks for your time. Thanks for your help, and wish you the best of luck, my friend.
You too. Take care.
All right, man. See you later.